And coming up next, is this machine in your future? When every minute counts, will this be the machine that protects your office against bioterrorism? Coming up next.
There are obviously a lot of people concerned about anthrax, and as you've heard, there are a lot of people in New York, in Florida, in Nevada now being tested. But most tests to confirm the presence of anthrax take days to confirm. What if there was a machine that could give you an answer in 30 minutes or less? Well, as ABC's John Yang shows us, there is.
Finding biowarfare agents like anthrax can take days of testing in the lab. But scientists say a new portable system, already in the hands of the Pentagon and the Centers for Disease Control, gives far more accurate results in far less time.
It's real-time testing. With our system, the identification can be performed within 30 minutes at the site.
The technology identifies biological agents like anthrax, smallpox, and botulism through genetic testing.
So you're looking for biological agents, bacteria, viruses like anthrax, by looking for their DNA?
Absolutely.
An even smaller and faster model will be available early next year.
We can get warning within the first minutes or hours, which gives us that much time to figure out how to get the right people to the right course of treatment.
Government scientists are also working on a handheld detector for chemical agents like nerve gas. A larger version is already being tested in the Washington, D.C. subway system.
This is a much more precise and accurate and faster technology and much more definitive.
New technology to provide a more effective early warning system for America's latest threat. John Yang, ABC News, Sunnyvale, California.
And joining us here in our studios in Times Square in New York, Tom Gutschall. He is CEO of Cepheid, the company that makes these machines. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you, Charlie. Nice to be here.
Now tell me how this works. You can detect positive, negative, whether there's anthrax or some other chemical agent, within 30 minutes.
That's correct. The assay will run in 30 minutes, assuming you have the right reagents. In other words, if you have the right sequence for that DNA strand within the anthrax spore.
Or you have the machine here.
Yes, we do.
And somebody who knows how to work it.
Thank you.
Tell me how it works. Tell me what it does.
Well, Jeff has set it up, and we actually started a mock assay about 25 minutes ago. And on the screen, you can see it's already beginning to record a positive response. He took material that had been prepped, mixed in the DNA probe and primer set, dropped it into the system, hit the go button, and we started through the amplification and detection sequence.
All right, so this will work if you have a guy like him who knows how to set it up and work it. In other words, how to properly prepare the sample that goes into it.
Correct.
So these are being used by CDC and other people, and they can give you a positive or negative return in 30 minutes.
That's correct.
All right, but if you simply had one, for instance, if NBC had one on site, you simply can't drop the powder in and tell. You need the technician who knows how to properly prepare the sample.
You need to hire Jeff.
You need to hire him. All right. But as John indicated, there's another generation of this machine coming.
That's correct.
Where you won't need, I'm sorry to make you obsolete immediately, but where you won't need him, where you can simply drop the sample in and it'll give you a reading as to whether you have anthrax.
Yeah, we've taken new technologies in microfluidics and micromachining and actually created a laboratory that fits in the palm of your hand, Charlie. And that would allow you to take that raw specimen, drop it into that cartridge, insert it into a new instrument we're building called GeneXpert, and within 30 minutes, sample preparation and identification.
All right, so in the future, I'll be able to simply drop a powder in here, and it'll tell me if there's anthrax there or not.
You might have it in a liquid suspension to put it in, but yes.
But if this is, and this is how accurate right now, this first generation, if I have the proper way to prepare it, it's how accurate.
Oh, but it all depends upon the chemistries that you have in there and how well you've handled your sample prep. If you followed everything to the T, 99% accuracy or better.
But we're getting some false negatives out of New York. We got some false positives out of Florida.
Sure. And that can be sample contamination, how the sample preparation was managed. There's a lot of things that are involved in that procedure to set up for the test that can cause it to go awry.
All right. So right now, it has to be all properly prepared samples. But in the future, you'll simply be able to drop something in here. How far in the future?
Well, the first prototype of the system that runs that particular cartridge will be made available to the DOD this quarter.
This quarter?
Yes.
So it's coming fairly soon?
Coming fairly soon.
To a laboratory near you.
Yeah,
All right. Thanks, Tom Gutschall. Appreciate it. Thanks. Good to have you here. We'll be back.
Detection of potential biological and chemical agents is getting more attention since the cases of anthrax in Florida, New York, and Nevada. Health anchor Kat Carney joins us now to show us more about a new weapon in the war on bioterrorism. I guess the results are in, huh?
The results are in. If you were with us earlier in the hour, I was showing you one of the steps technicians use in the identification of genetic material. Now, this type of science and technology has been around for many years, but you're going to be hearing more and more about it as scientists battle bioterrorism. Now, one of the many devices being used out in the field and in the lab is the Smart Cycler, and this is the Smart Cycler sitting next to me. And joining me here to talk about this is molecular biologist Brian Wendelberg. Now, Brian, about 20 minutes ago, we started a cycle of tests on human DNA, but the test could have been on any genetic material, like anthrax or smallpox. Is that correct?
That's correct, Kat.
Because this isn't a bioterrorism detection agency. This is a DNA detection
That's right.
device.
That's
so
right.
DNA is DNA is DNA.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the applications is detecting anthrax or smallpox.
That's right.
Now, show us the results of our earlier tests.
Okay. Essentially what we're looking at here is a positive signal. So, and this actually occurred in about 17 minutes. So from the time we set the assay up to the time we actually detected a positive event was about 17 minutes. And so when this vertical line here indicates that whatever we were trying to measure in that particular sample actually contained it. And to distinguish that from, say, a negative event, the other line down here did not cross this little red line you see across the screen.
So the curved line is the positive result.
The curved line is the positive result. That's
now,
correct.
this was human DNA. What would this have looked like if it was anthrax?
It would look essentially the same. What we're looking for is just what we call this a growth curve, and that's exactly what you would expect if you had a particular anthrax you were trying to measure.
Now, this machine was originally used to detect, or one of the first commercial uses was to detect food pathogens. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, how did it come to be used by the Department of Defense for bioterrorism detection?
Well, very simply, the Department of Defense saw the utility in having a particular instrument like this where you could actually run multiple protocols simultaneously. So if you had multiple targets or multiple pathogens that you wanted to be able to measure, you could do it very readily.
Mm-hmm. And it's very, very small. It seems like it's very portable, so you can take it out in the field and have it in the lab. And each one of these chambers, you can be running a separate test in, right?
That's correct.
Wow. Now, despite its small size, I bet it's pretty pricey. How can you tell us how much it costs?
It's about $27,500.
Oh,
$27,500.
So if you have $27,500, I guess you could get one at home. But other than that, I think they're probably going to be in the lab. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right. Thanks.